And welcome to the Sunday Chronicles podcast, the smartest, most mentally stimulating podcast on the internet. As always, I'm your host, Michael, and I'm here with your co-host, Miguel.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, we're back for another episode, man. And unfortunately, we don't have Josh. Josh isn't going to be on he probably won't be on for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were probably planning to have Josh on more often, but unfortunately, kind of some things going on in his own personal life. So he probably won't be on as often. We'll hope to... We'll see, right?
Get him back on soon, you know?
Yeah, hopefully whenever he's able to, we'll try to get him back on.
But
Yeah, man. I mean, I just recently watched... I had been meaning to watch it for a while, and I hadn't watched it. I was kind of just putting it off because it was kind of long. It was like 4.5 hours. I watched the Jeen-Yuhs or something like that. I think that's what it's called. It is the Kanye West documentary on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Which, if anybody hasn't watched it and they're I'm pretty sure if you're a Kanye West fan, you've watched it because his fans are like a cult. But that's a whole other discussion, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even if you're not like a huge fan of Kanye West, I think it's pretty interesting. I think you can kind of take some motivation from it. Because I was watching it and I was like I said, it's pretty long. It's split up in 3 parts, and each part is like an hour and a half. It's like its own movie. Each part is like its own movie in and of itself.
Is it like a biography of his life, or what is it?
It was basically it's a documentary. This guy named Cootie, who he was like a video producer.
Mm-hmm.
He'd basically just been recording him since like the early 2000s. Since like before he dropped The College Dropout, which was his first album. He had been video recording him since before even he dropped The College Dropout, which was like in 2002 or something that.
Yeah. So like when he was still like...
Yeah, they were both young. They were both like in their 20s when they started it, and he didn't release it up until... Well, this was like a few months ago that they released it. And there's he's
been working on this for like years, like recording just...
Like 20 years.
So just recording Kanye, like...
Yeah. And
throughout his life, or like just his music part of life?
Throughout basically his like music part of life, because essentially that's like all his life is in essence, right? Because he's constantly working. But yeah, he follows him for what he said it was like something like 20 years, and he didn't even know if the documentary was ever even going to get finished. But he was he was just recording for 20 years, and then when he had said in the documentary that when everything happened with COVID, and when that kind of came on, which was like 2020, that he said that it was like the perfect time for him to just kind of dive in and just try to sort through like 20 years of like film footage or whatever.
That's a lot of footage.
Yeah, to just try to be like, all right, let me see if we can make something of this, right?
Yeah.
Eventually they did, and they were able to shorten it down to 4.5 hours, which I'm pretty sure they had way more than that.
Yeah.
Because I think initially in the documentary, Kanye or him had said that it was originally going to be like a 7-hour documentary. It's only actually 4.5 hours, which is honestly good because I felt like it was pretty long. Like I watched them all within different days because it was just long, man. The whole documentary was long.
Is it good enough to like where you can like split it in between days? That like if you take a break from watching one and then you move on to the next one, it's not like there's a big gap.
No, I feel like they do a pretty good job, which in each part of the documentary of kind of like wrapping up like almost like a chapter in his life. So like you can finish the first one and watch the second one the next day, and it's like you won't feel like you're missing out. You don't feel like you have to watch all 3 of them in a row. Okay. So yeah, I think they do a pretty good job of the way that they edited in that part. I think they did a pretty good job with that. Yeah, I feel like you guys in the recording you're gonna hear this the chair that I'm sitting on is just creaking really badly. I need to replace it. So sorry, you're just gonna kind of have to just listen to that.
Creaky old chair.
Yeah, because I tend to move. I don't know. It's just I would just be like on some ADHD shit. I don't have any of that, but I feel like when I'm recording, especially, I feel like I just can't really. I don't want to just like sit still. Yeah. Also, because the chair kind of moves.
It's like sometimes you can't help it. You have to move, and then like.
Yeah, I feel like I just have to move to get comfortable.
Yeah.
And the chair will kind of lean back, almost like if you can lay back, but then when it does that, you get the.
Oh, dude! This is just like straight up wood all around, so this thing is gonna creak like bad.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty. That's a whole nother thing, actually. Obviously by this point, this is gonna be our 4th episode. It should be our 4th or 5th episode. Yeah, I think the 4th episode. And listening, because obviously when I post these, I have to listen back to them so I can figure out. Because sometimes I forget, right? When we record and stuff like that, I forget what it is that we even talked about in the episode. So I have to listen to them back and figure out a title and like a description and all that. So I usually listen to them all the way through, and I realize that I say rough a lot. Like I'll be like, "That's rough," I feel like I say that shit way too much. Like
Roughly 5% of the population.
not even like that. I just kind of use it in the same way that's like, for example, if we were talking about, I don't know, somebody got like well, if we were talking about like what's going on in Ukraine, I'd just be like, yeah, it's rough out there. And I would say it a lot. I notice myself saying it a lot. It's probably getting pretty annoying if you're listening to this shit, but yeah, I'm gonna try to like stop saying that and expand my vocabulary. I probably sound like a dumbass, but whatever. It is what it is. But again, back to the Kanye thing, because I didn't even finish what I want to talk about. But with Kanye, just recently, because I think obviously he dropped his album Donda, which was dedicated to his mother, which is a really good album. I think it's I think there's something in there for everybody.
Yeah.
I think it was overall. I'm not like a huge Kanye West fan like that. I'm not like a cult fan of Kanye West. It's kind of like, we'll talk about that little bit after. But like, I enjoy his music. I think he is one of the I think he definitely is one of the best rappers out there.
Listener, yeah.
Yeah, he's good though. He is good. Like I'm not like a devout Kanye fan. I don't listen to everything that this guy puts out, but I've listened to most of the stuff that he has out. Obviously, he has a ton of music out there spanning back to like the early 2000s. But anyways, so just recently, I think he had announced the release of, or not the release, but he had announced that his upcoming album will be like Donda 2 or something like that. I don't know if that's going to be the official name. Pretty unoriginal, but I mean, it is what it is. Maybe it's just, I don't know, a second part to the first, obviously, Donda. But, and there was like controversy because he had posted on Instagram that basically that he wasn't going to, or that he didn't want to post when Donda 2 was ready, that he didn't want to post it onto, or release it onto Apple Music, Spotify, like the typical mediums that most artists would put their music on. But instead he was basically going to make this like stem player, which I don't know if you've seen it, but it was kind of going around for a little bit after the release of Donda.
I think I had seen like when he announced that he was going to post it onto stem player.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like a little circle thing.
I think so.
Yeah, it's like this little circular device. It's like a tan color, like a beige kind of color. And basically the whole point of the device is that you can take, I mean, Kanye's Donda 2 would be on there if you bought it. And you could also take other things, like other pieces of music, and you can download it onto the stem player. And through there you can isolate certain things. Like you can isolate the vocals, or you can isolate just the instrumental, or you can isolate like drums, or, stuff like that, right?
I seen a video one time of Kanye. He was like with some other artist, I think Pharrell Williams maybe. He was showing him like how it works. Like he was like taking off the vocals or the beat, and he was basically like showing him how it works, like just playing the beat or just playing the vocals.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
okay.
That's it. It's a stem player, because it had been, or at least it had been shown for a little bit now, but now just recently, I don't even know if it's still on sale. It may or may not still be on sale, but here's like the kicker, right? This is where the controversy was that the stem player is $200. So it's like, you got to ask yourself, like, damn, am I really going to pay $200 to listen to Donda 2? And like, obviously a bunch of people did, because they were getting a bunch of sales. Obviously, like I said, because Kanye West has a crazy devout following. These guys are, I'm not going to say they're lunatics, right? It's not that deep. Obviously, they just really like what Kanye does. I'm probably offending some people if they're watching and they're, devout Kanye fans. But I just think that, like, I don't know. I guess Kanye is an interesting person in the sense that I feel like he can do no wrong, but he also is always doing wrong. Yeah. I feel like there's always just two sides. There's nothing I feel like no one's ever just like, you know what, Kanye's okay, or like, he's not the most morally sound person, but he's not the worst. I feel like it's always just either one way. It's the fans basically, like his devout following, saying that, nah, bro, he's perfect and he's the greatest musician out there and he's changing the way that rap and hip hop is or whatever. And then there's the people that are saying, yeah, this guy's fucking crazy and he has mental health problems and his music's mid and he's whatever, insane, this and this and that. I don't know. I fall somewhere in between. Like I said, I mean, I think with most things in life aren't black and white, and I think it's the same thing with this thing with Kanye. And if you watch the documentary, you kind of see it as well in the way, because I think it's in the second part of the documentary. It kind of shows during the time, which is like in 2007, when Kanye's mom died, when Donda actually died, and how it kind of affected him, obviously, which is natural, right? I mean, it's normal that it would affect. I mean, the death of a mom or a parent figure would affect anyone, obviously. So to that point, like the things, the kind of the antics that he was doing at that time, are in essence like understandable. I mean, obviously, like you have to be accountable for the things that you do. Not that he did anything crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is understandable. And then obviously, as the years went on, this was like recently, like in 2016, when he kind of started backing Trump, or when he was like, I don't know exactly what the situation was with Trump, but it was like he was kind of like backing Trump, but he wasn't backing Trump. Like I think maybe he was in talks with him because he wanted to talk to him about prison reform, and obviously everything with like Larry Hoover Jr. So I think he was trying to essentially aid people that have been in prison, people that are being like wrongfully imprisoned,
or just like somebody that's changed over time, right?
Yeah,
like,
or just like mass incarceration.
Yeah,
because that's a big thing too. It's like that's a whole nother topic that we can get into. But anyway, so it kind of goes over that in the documentary, like the things that were going on in 2016, and when he was admitted into because he was admitted into a mental institution that he basically couldn't leave. I don't know if he admitted him. I think he admitted himself, and they obviously like diagnosed him or whatever. Or they were kind of giving him evaluation tests, and then they deemed basically that he couldn't leave. That it was like, I guess, unsafe for him to leave or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that the details of what was actually going on, or you know what, I think it was basically they had diagnosed Kanye as being bipolar, and he was taking bipolar medication. I don't know if he still takes them now, but at least during that time, like the 2016, 2018 era or whatever, he was taking bipolar medication. Because in the documentary, he says it that he was having a conversation with some people that he was partnered with in real estate, and he had basically said that he was like on bipolar medication to even be there and talk to him. I think he's just like a strange individual, man. Did you ever watch the episode where he ended up on a Joe Rogan podcast episode? Did you ever watch it?
No.
Well, basically, like, I mean, I did watch it, and I watched like the full thing, and I don't know, he just like talks really weird. Like, I feel like it's pretty normal though when you're kind of talking and something like this, that you're kind of like you'll find yourself rambling, because I do it a lot too. But I feel like it's like, I don't know, he talks similarly to like Elon Musk. You know how Elon Musk talks, right?
Yeah, he's a really different way of than like some other people would talk. It's like his own unique way of talking, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like, I don't know, it's just weird. Kanye is just like, I feel like he has like a lot of ideas, but I feel like he doesn't articulate himself well. Or like when he's trying to say, I think it's what it is. I think he just doesn't know how to articulate himself well, like me right there. Because like he just sounds like, some of the things that he says, he sounds crazy. Yeah, like you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But if you actually pay attention to what he's saying, or kind of like figure it out, like read between the lines, you're like, okay, that kind of does make sense, right?
Yeah,
that does make sense. But it's just, I feel like that just all adds on to the narrative of like, oh, this guy's crazy, or he's whatever, he's this and this and that. I don't know. What's your opinion on it?
Kanye?
Yeah, just in general. Or also, I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion on the STEM players thing? You feel like it's it's a money grab, or well, actually,
$200.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, depending on like, I don't know, because it's like you're almost like paying $200 for like the album, but you also get a lot of, you get
features with the STEM player.
Yeah, I mean the STEM player is really cool, especially if you're like into music or playing with sound. You get a lot of cool features with it, which is kind of just pretty useful. You can listen to your vocals, you can listen to your beats, see how they sound without having to like using all these mixers. It comes in one device.
No, yeah, that is true. Yeah, so from that aspect, it is pretty interesting. I mean, basically the reason why he did it on STEM Player though wasn't just to like throw it on STEM Player and to have what he had explained in the post where he said that he was going to release Donda 2 exclusively on STEM Player, was that artists don't make as much money as they should from Apple Music and Spotify. Basically, he was saying that those companies don't pay as well as they should, or they're taking more of a percentage than he thinks that they deserve for the music,
right?
Which is kind of understandable, but I don't know. There's kind of like, some people were like roasting him. Some people were kind of roasting him and being like, "Oh yeah, this guy's fucking crazy if you think someone paid $200." And then obviously there was like, whatever. It goes back and forth, but
right.
I mean, I say this all to say that it's just like, I don't know. I think it's just too much negativity, man. Yeah. It's just too much negativity. Everybody's just trying to point their finger, and everybody wants to have their opinion. whatever, man. I the way I see it is if you want to listen to the album and you fuck with them like that, buy a stem player, and if you don't,
Yeah.
don't. Then that's really it.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes with anything though. People are always just trying to make a bigger deal out of things, and
It really is.
yeah, it's always just goes full circle.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool though. I mean, a stem player, you get.
It's interesting,
Yeah. I mean, if I were to start making music and all this, like that'd be pretty cool. Like isolate a beat. I don't know if I'd have vocals. I don't know how I'd feel about singing myself, but
Right.
that'd be pretty cool. Like a stem player. Even if you're just like for a producer, that's really good.
Yeah.
You could play with somebody else's music, let them hear how they sound, how the beat sounds, all this different.
Yeah,
stuff,
it is interesting because I mean, if you're super into music or if you actually create music, yeah, I mean, definitely it definitely is super cool because I don't know if this has already been a thing, but I guess it's like it's portable. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
this little device,
Yeah.
and then through it you can control it. I'm pretty sure you could do it on other things, but you'd probably need like a pretty big you would need like a whole equipment setup.
Yeah.
And with this, it's just like a little portable thing. So yeah, I mean, I mean, again, it's worth it for some people, not worth it for other people.
It's different for everybody.
Yeah, everybody's gonna have different wants and needs, and obviously some people it's just different economic situations too. Because I mean, if you just have $200 to just shell out, then whatever.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then obviously you got to think it twice and just be like, fuck this guy, he can go, he can go kill himself or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, it is all just kind of a little strange, I guess. A week ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, give
It's
or take.
really recent.
Yeah, I saw like essentially like the opening weekend or like a few days
Mhm.
after it. Whatever. Yeah, but I watched it. What was your opinion then?
Oh, amazing, dude! Fucking amazing, really fucking good.
Did you think it was better than The Dark Knight?
I don't know, cause I really like The Dark Knight. It's a classic.
Yeah.
How can you compete with a classic? I feel like it's up there on the same level, just not where it like passes it. Where it doesn't beat The Dark Knight, cause The Dark Knight was a whole different level, like in terms of like just like story and just like characters, all that. It's a different level than from this other Batman is. You
True.
know?
I think it definitely is a different film in sort of in the sense that I feel like this was kind of like a very like detective type of like
Mm-hmm.
very noir, like old. It kind of like reminds me of like the video game LA Noire, if any of you guys have played that. But it's just very like detective style. It's very focused on the detective aspect of
Yeah.
Batman. You know what though? I'm gonna say it though. I think it was better. I think it was my favorite Batman movie.
Oh,
I think
for
it was
real?
better than The Dark Knight.
You know what I really liked was like there was multiple storylines all in like one
Yeah.
movie, like, and they actually close in like every storyline.
Yeah,
Like,
they do it really well.
Yeah.
It just flows very
Mhm.
well. Look here, I think that it's better than The Dark Knight, but I don't think it beats The Dark Knight by like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're both pretty up there, but I do think that it's better than The Dark Knight, and I'm gonna tell you my reasons. I think that Christian Bale's Batman, not Bruce Wayne, Batman, is
Mhm.
overrated as fuck.
Yeah.
I personally don't like his voice. A lot of people did. But I didn't really like his voice. I thought he sounded fucking dumb. He'd be like,
Yeah.
he sounded like that.
He put too much effort in trying to make the voice that it just like
Yeah,
It
it was
was
like, God damn, bro, drink some fucking water. It was just, I never liked that voice. And also, and again, obviously, there's, this movie was made back in the day, so there's obviously constraints with like, technology
Mhm.
and all of that, right?
Mhm.
But it's just the reality is you have to take that into account.
Yeah.
Christian Bale's Batman moves stiff as fuck.
Yeah.
The suit looked heavy as fuck. He just moves awkward. It's just like Batman would not move like this.
Yeah.
And so you do have to take that into account, because I would say that Robert Pattinson's Batman did a way better job. I thought
Yeah.
the suit looked like it was like light. It looked realistic.
You know what it reminded me of? Of the Arkham games. I feel like he moved a lot more like he would
Yeah.
like in those games where he's more free flowing. He has easier movement. He moves like actual Batman. He has a better voice, I think. Just because like he doesn't like he have to like grunt his voice so much.
You know what? I feel like he kind of did start to get into it a little bit. I did
Mhm.
notice throughout the movie that he would be talking like the way that his Batman was normally talking.
Yeah.
And then he'd start to like, it was very slight, but I feel like throughout the movie you could kind of hear that he'd start to go into like, where's, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, that one voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's whatever. That's not even my biggest deal. But yeah, I
Mhm.
thought it was just a really good movie all around. I thought the Riddler did a good job
Mhm.
of being kind of like, for one, I think do you know what the actor's name is? Like
Paul
Paul.
Dano. I
Yeah,
think.
Paul Dano or Paul. Yeah, Paul Dano or Paul Dano. I thought he did a really good job as Riddler from like an appearance factor. He
Mhm.
really kind of looks like the like Edward Nygma, like the kind of like
Like
incel nerd type
what
of
you'd
like.
imagine
Yeah.
the Riddler to look like almost, you know.
Yeah, basically, because if you actually look at comic books, that's kind of pretty accurate as to what he looks like. The only thing
Mhm.
that I didn't, not even that I didn't like, but there was just that was different, was that I feel like the Riddler in this movie is like really violent, whereas I feel like the Riddler in like actual comics, he's just more of like a fucking nuisance.
Yeah.
Like he is violence and he does kill people and shit, but I feel like it's more of just like he's. I don't know. I just felt like when he was killing the people, it was just with like such passion.
Yeah.
It was like very violent, so it was just like
I mean,
it was just a little different, I guess.
I mean, for sequels, if they do decide to go with the sequel route, you know, like, who knows with other villains, like, you know, some villains that are more harsher in comics, like, how much crazier they could be, like,
that's
you
true.
know, action sequences with other villains that Batman would actually, like, fight hand-to-hand combat, like,
Yeah,
that'd be really cool. Like, imagine a Deathstroke fight.
yeah, that would be pretty crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, the Joker was at the end of the movie. I don't know if you peeped.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's the guy that he's talking to is the Joker.
Yeah.
So they had kind of teased him, but I know that. Do you know what the director's name was? I forgot his name.
Matt Reeves.
Yeah, Matt Reeves. I think he had talked about that. That he doesn't really. He's not sure if he is gonna even put the Joker in as like a main villain.
Mhm.
Which like I kind of understand that from the sense of like all like, you know, I feel like we've seen the Joker a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But then I feel like also at the same time it's like, how do you not put the Joker in though?
Yeah.
He's literally like, you know, he's Batman's villain.
There's
He's
no
the main
Batman
villain.
without, you know,
Yeah,
the
there's
Joker.
no, exactly. It's like Batman and the Joker, and everyone else is just kind of like, you know, a side factor, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like
But it's
I don't
also
know, who knows?
it's also good that they're bringing like different other
Yeah.
villains up to like almost up to that level to where like they're being included in like all these movies because you know
exactly.
they're also like really good villains, you know.
Yeah, and they're all a part of his like they're all
His
a part
rogue
of like
gallery.
that. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that, right? Yeah, because they also kind of they build up the Penguin obviously. I mean, this
Mhm.
is like a pretty early Batman. I think it's like in the movie it says that he's into year 2, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it says like barely like this is like a brand new,
Yeah.
very young Batman.
And
I thought he really did. I thought he
Yeah.
did a good job, though. Honestly, I think my only kind of like gripe with Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne was I felt like he was like a little too incel and emo.
Mhm.
But I do get it though. Obviously, being that it's just him starting off, and so the balance between Bruce Wayne and Batman obviously isn't as good because
Mhm.
he's just so new into it.
He's,
So hopefully that they expand on that.
he's more Batman than like Bruce Wayne in this movie.
Yeah, which makes sense. But I
Mhm.
just feel like he was super like in like the beginning. It was like kind of funny because he's talking to Alfred. And then Alfred's telling him that he's gonna get killed or something like that,
Mhm.
and he's like, "I don't care what happens to me." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just like, "What the fuck?" I don't know. That was just kind of funny to me. I was just like, "What?" I was like, "Yo, this dude's bugging."
Mhm.
But anyways, no. I mean, yeah. I mean, I really liked it, man. So I personally would put it above The Dark Knight.
Okay.
I thought that Zoe Kravitz did a good job as. I think she did a good job as. I feel like she wasn't really Catwoman. She's more like I think she did a good job as like being Selena Kyle.
Mhm.
I think she did a good job as that. I thought Colin Farrell as the Penguin was pretty good. My only gripe was that he was like I feel like he was too tall to be the Penguin, but that's like
Yeah.
whatever. I guess that's like the least of anybody's concerns. That
He almost has the face, you know, like I know they did like
Yeah.
prosthetics for his face.
I think it's decent. He just
Yeah.
doesn't have the monocle, which I'm pretty sure he'll get within the later movies.
That'd be cool to see
Yeah.
like an almost accurate penguin look, you know, with the monocle.
Yeah,
all
and
that.
like the top hat and like the cane that's
Yeah.
like, or it's like the umbrella that's a gun.
Mhm.
You know what I did notice though that is different. Another thing that is different. It's not like comic accurate or whatever. But I sound like a fucking nerd. But anyways, because in the actual like comics and in the Arkham games, if you guys have ever played those, Penguin and Batman, or not Penguin and Batman, but like obviously Penguin and Bruce Wayne, they know each other. Like
Mhm.
they've known each other since they were kids. Because obviously both of their families were rich. Well, what's his name? Cobblepot, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what his first name is?
Oswald.
Yeah,
Cobblepot.
yeah, Oswald or whatever. So like him and Bruce Wayne, they knew each other.
Yeah.
Or they grew up kind of together. And in the movie, when Bruce Wayne kind of shows up to that to that what was it? It was like something to do with like the president, right? Like she talks or not the president, the mayor. You know what I'm talking? It was like in the I don't know if it was like a courtyard or something like that or like a church.
Wait, when I also don't want to give off too many spoilers.
Yeah.
But I think it was a funeral, right? When they were on the steps.
Yeah,
right. When they encounter each other.
Yeah, basically in the movie, Penguin and Bruce Wayne, because it's Bruce Wayne, they basically see each other, and Penguin Cobblepot is like, well, like who the hell is this guy, right? Which is like obviously different because that would basically mean that within this universe or whatever, that Penguin doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is, which is different. Again, that's like very little. I just noticed it. I thought it was interesting. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Obviously, it doesn't have to be perfect, or, one-to-one comic book accuracy or whatever. I think it's good that that Matt Reeves takes creative or that he'll use he'll be able to like have his own creative license on that Batman universe because ultimately that's his, right?
Yeah.
In the same way that who did the Dark Knight movies again?
Christopher.
Yeah, it was Christopher Nolan, right? Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really good though. So
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's much to say. If you haven't watched the movie, go watch the movie. It was really, really good.
I know they announced the spin-off series for the Penguin.
They did, yeah.
And an Arkham Asylum series as well.
For HBO Max.
Yeah, which is going to be really cool, actually.
Yeah. That's interesting, too, nowadays. That like I feel like everything is kind of like... I feel like Marvel kind of started to do it with basically... They're kind of having like spin-off shows within the universe. I think it's interesting because it gives more content.
Yeah.
And obviously it gives people more jobs and more actors and stuff like that. I just hope that it's good.
It like expands the small part of the universe that they wouldn't really get into with the movie universe.
Yeah.
So it's like you get more background on some really good
yeah, because there's a lot of good stories in
background characters. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think within the Arkham Asylum one, it's gonna go into Jim Gordon, and obviously with like the Penguin one, it's obviously just gonna go into Penguin and everything and how. I'm not exactly sure if it's gonna be a prequel of before the Batman movie or after the Batman movie. I guess we'll see.
It'd also be really cool to see, like how Penguin got all this power, how he got the Iceberg Lounge, how he basically how he did all this. If they did a prequel, or even if they did a sequel, like it's kind of it's a little different to do a sequel, cause if they don't do Batman in it, but it's also you get to see Penguin's life without Batman,
Yeah.
Without Batman being around all the time trying to like
Right.
interrogate him and beat the living shit out of him.
Now that you brought it up, I've totally forgot, but that was interesting too. That the Iceberg Lounge is, because I'm pretty sure the actual Iceberg Lounge again, we're referring back to the fucking comics, is like it's kind of like a classier type of place, I think. Whereas in here, it's kind of just like a nightclub and shit.
Yeah.
So that is interesting too. Again, I don't have like a problem with it. I just think it's interesting how certain aspects of the world are different,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how it kind of all plays out.
Which is good though, because they modernize it. Cause like, if they do classics, it's a little like...
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like it's outdated. Like, it doesn't like fit in,
Yeah.
And it helps especially with like all the technology that Batman has. If they're doing a setting and it's like in the 1980s or something like this, like... I'm thinking of back to like the original Batman movie with what's his name, Michael Keaton, and who was that other Penguin?
I don't remember who did the Penguin for Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah,
honestly,
but like
if you know, you know.
Yeah, and like in that setting, it's kind of weird, having Batman have all this advanced technology and like in a time like that. But like now,
I get you.
Now in our time, it makes more sense. Batman has.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's like how I had seen that. It's just I had seen somebody say, or I don't know, I had seen a post basically say that this is the most updated Gotham City, and yeah, it's true. It's very up to date to what's going on right now. 2022. Or 2022, whatever.
Yeah.
Same fucking shit. I don't know why it sounds so weird. 2022, 2022. Anyways, yeah, but again, if you haven't watched it, go watch the movie, and we'll move on. But this is another thing though, because like I said in the beginning, I had talked about I was unsure if this is going to be the 4th or 5th episode. It'll probably be the 4th because we did record a Russia versus Ukraine video, like Russia versus Ukraine. But yeah, we had recorded a video talking about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, but we didn't end up posting we're probably not gonna post a video, not because like I felt like we said anything bad or anything controversial, but I just felt like within the video, and I think you can agree with me, I feel like we didn't do a good job of articulating ourselves and organizing the information. Because really all we were trying to do was basically try to just spread information and everything that we've heard and that we know, to try to just organize it in a way that's like satisfying to hear. So you don't have to go like trolling the internet and trying to find everything yourself. And I was listening back to it. I just think that we did a really poor job of organizing the information. And I just think it didn't really come out good. So the likelihood is that you're not going to hear that episode will probably be scrapped. Maybe we might record it again. I'm honestly not sure. Might just put it to bed. Might just put that whole situation to rest. Again, what I will say though is that it is kind of a yeah, I mean it's definitely sad to see what's going on with the people of Ukraine. They're losing their homes, and there's people trying to flee the country, and it is all very sad. So definitely my my sympathies go out to them, because
everybody
I
over
can't.
there.
Yeah, because I couldn't imagine what that's like.
Man, everybody's losing their homes.
Yeah, it's
a really like bad situation over there.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's just like gonna keep getting worse. So
yeah, because
all we can do is like. I guess all we can do here is, hope that...
Unfortunately, the reality is I feel like there's not much that you can really do.
Yeah.
I mean, you can obviously donate money. There's definitely that route. But I feel like other than donating money, I feel like, unfortunately, there's not... I don't know of anything that you could actually do. I feel like, unfortunately, with a situation like that, you can only really just, hope for the best, right? If you're religious, pray for them. And if you're not, well, then just send them your best wishes. And hopefully everything ends up situating itself. And, I mean, what matters here is the people of Ukraine, right? Everything that's going on with the Russian and Ukraine governments is kind of like whatever. They'll work that shit out themselves. But obviously the people are being affected, right? Innocent people, little kids and women and men and, older people. Hopefully everything gets situated out there. But yeah, we just wanted to talk about that because I felt like I wanted to be transparent that we recorded the episode, and it just didn't come out good. It was the first episode that we'll ever probably scrap. Like I said before, we don't really edit these that much. We try to keep it as like authentic and as real as possible. I don't really want to script anything, right? I feel like that's like
it doesn't come out as good.
Yeah,
like
I feel
we're just robotic,
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't come out as good. I feel like in the first episode, there's a little bit of that. I feel like not only does it come out kind of like, maybe disingenuous isn't the word, but yeah, like you said, it just doesn't come out as good because it doesn't sound very natural. And I feel like this, I mean, obviously when you have, you kind of have like those stutters and those pauses, or when shit gets starts to get droned on, but I feel like that is natural. It's kind of like you guys are here with us in this conversation, in this room with us. So that's kind of all we're trying to bring, right? Is that authenticity to it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it like that. Yeah. But yeah, I think that'll be it for today's episode.
Okay. Good episode.
I want to thank you. Yeah, it was. Well, let's. Oh yeah, because again, I always forget to do this for the episodes. Recap. We have to do our little recap. Yeah. So again, to recap the episode, I don't think that Kanye West is crazy. I think that people give him too much shit, and I think that people are too crazy devoted for him. So obviously, there's two sides of the coin. I think there's people that support him crazy. I think there's people that put him down way too much. I don't think it's that deep, and I think that you can agree. Sure. If you haven't seen the Batman movie, go watch the Batman movie. Right. Because it was really good. It was really, really, really good. The Russia-Ukraine episode is going to get scrapped, unfortunately, but our hearts go out to them, to anybody in the Ukraine. If you know anybody from the Ukraine, or if you have family that live in the Ukraine, truly it is a sad situation, so our hearts go out to you. But yeah, that was going to be it. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Sunday Chronicles podcast.
Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your week, weekend, day, night, wherever you guys are. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. As always, like, comment, subscribe, or share, or follow, whatever you guys are on, whether you're listening
Share with everybody you know.
Yeah, if you enjoyed the episode, just share it with other people. It'll help us grow. It'll do a great job for us, obviously, because we're just trying to grow this channel and get it out to more people and hopefully entertain and maybe inform. Not that we're fucking, not that we're news reporters or anything like that, but we try to give out a little bit of information. Yeah. So that's all it is. Again, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night. Yep.